everyone, and welcome back to the Famiboards Discussion Club. I'm WestEgg, and I'm once again joined by Irene.
Hello, hello, hello.
And today we're going to be discussing the Nintendo Direct for June 2026, kind of part of the larger Summer Games Fest slash not E3. So, kind of speaking of that, actually, no, before that, just to kind of catch up because it's been a while, what you been playing lately?
Okay, so the what you've been playing lately question is going straight into Mina the Hollower gushing.
Okay.
Here we go. This is straight up my game of the year so far. It is an incredible video game. I'm just shook by it. It is so good. Oh my god. It
I
is.
need,
Oh, sorry. Go on.
I started playing it. I haven't quite gotten into the flow of it yet. The just because like it controls interestingly. I think I will get into
Mm,
it, especially since it's kind of a love letter to A Link to the Past, or not Link to the
yeah.
Past, Link's Awakening. But yeah, I'm really glad to hear like all the praise it's getting.
Yeah. Jacked Club cooked. They really
I
cooked with
mean,
this one. Yeah.
they're batting pretty high right now too, so
Which
that's really
the
comforting.
yeah, it's really comforting because it really was like a ride or die game for them, and I'm really happy for them that it paid off spectacularly, both in sales and critical acclaim. Um, but what I love about the game so much is that I was initially pretty de-hyped on it because when you first saw the screenshot, you were just like, "Oh shit, this is their Zelda. This is like a Link's Awakening homage, just like Shovel Knight is like a Mario homage, but it's very unique also." But then it was like the demo came out, and people were a bit like saying it's not very Zelda-like. It has more in common with like Castlevania, and it's linear. It's not any puzzles. It's not any like. It's not much puzzles. It's not like item-based progression. None of the Zelda stuff. But when you're playing Mina the Hollower, it just strikes you that it is a Zelda-like, but it's not a like Link's Awakening. It's actually have a
Hmm.
lot in common with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. First of all, that it is actually kind of like open world in a way. Like it has the major areas where you have to shut down the generators, and the major areas are actually really linear. They have like optional paths and secrets and whatever. But then there's like the central area with like the town and the surrounding kind of overworld thing. So you can, I mean, the game kind of like shuffles you towards the crypt area, the Castlevania inspired crypt area from the beginning, but you can tackle them in any direction, and you can like sequence break a lot. And what I and it's just it has so much in common with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom when it comes to like world design, because you get the same feeling of like, oh, the freedom, you can go anywhere, and there's so much secrets to discover, and there's this wonder of like exploration of like, oh shit. And the burrowing mechanic is so cool, and that's actually also a callback for Zelda, because the burrowing mechanic remind me a lot of about the Minish Cap, where you have
Hmm.
to like shrink down and find holes. It is the same with the burrowing, because you find these holes that leads you to, and just incredible world design and incredible sense of like exploration and secrets. And you find these like, you're so used to like the lesser parts of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, which is like, oh, some sick weird thing, and it's like a Korok seed. But here's like you find this like weird alternate path. You dig into it, and then boom, like this amazing secret area with its really sick trinkets that transforms exploration. And then you get into the main areas, and it does turn more linear. It's more action packed, but that's also what I love about it, is that it has the assists, or like the modifiers. And I
Hmm.
played with, I think I wouldn't have liked it as much if it weren't for the assist. So I immediately turned on like, don't drop your bones when you're dead, and don't what I did I else do, half damage. And I made it much easier. um
Okay.
so that made it much more fun to go for. I don't think I would have enjoyed it quite as much if it was like much more difficult, because I already had a lot of difficult time with it, even with the modifiers. So it was that perfectly balanced difficulty, and um, just just blown away. I was like buying it because of the praise, and I said, oh, let's check it out. Maybe it is like cool after all. Just blown away. Like, holy shit. Yacht Club, the goats.
That is quite the endorsement.
Yes, it is
Yeah,
a great game.
I'll definitely try and get back into it. I haven't really played with the modifiers much, but yeah, I should probably get that if I'm having a little bit of trouble with the movement.
Yeah,
As
there's
far as, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, there's a lot of tweaks to movement too you can do, and if you can really tailor make you, or like make your own experience basically with the modifiers.
Nice.
Yeah.
As far as what I've been playing lately, I've been playing a lot of Tomodachi Life. I've just really been enjoying
Awesome.
that game, just the sandbox aspect. It's not the deepest game, but
Yeah.
it's satisfying and fun. I probably don't really need to explain it to people because it's blowing up everywhere.
Yeah, it
But
is really fun. Yeah, go on.
and then I recently finished Dragon Quest III, the HD 2D remake, and that
Mm,
game is amazing. Like
awesome.
it is like a 35-hour game that feels like it has the content of a 90-hour game, but the pacing of a 35-hour game. Like it's just
Oh,
really impressive. Like
yeah, that's
it's
really cool.
all filler. Or not, no, it's no filler. It's no filler, all killer. I just
Yeah,
really
yeah.
enjoyed it. It's really charming. I had a ton of fun with it. And then I started to replay Metaphor ReFantasio, and I'll probably continue with this playthrough, even though it got the Switchport announcement thing, which we'll probably talk about later.
When is the Switchport announcement dropping, or when is the Switchport dropping?
I
Do you
think it
remember?
was in November because people were
Ah,
making a big deal about it going head to head with Grand Theft Auto 6, and they're like, it's
okay.
the only game that has the courage.
Yes.
And I'm like, damn right.
Awesome.
All
But
right.
can we just hover a bit more on Tomodachi Life for a little bit longer?
Absolutely.
Because I just want to like shout out that game for being the funniest damn game I've played in
Hmm.
ages. Just the way, and I've been just going absolutely like this is the game that if you played my save file, you wouldn't understand shit because I've filled it with inside jokes that only I can get. Like inside
Okay.
jokes with myself and my like old friends and stuff, and inside jokes from like the metal community, and inside jokes from like the Alan Wake series. I have Alan Wake on my island, and I have like this. Super bizarre like columnist, and I have the King of Sweden is here, and the Prime Minister of Sweden is also here, and who else is here? Like the bassist from Broadway, which is a pretty mediocre metalcore band, is also here, and there's like and who else is here? Yeah, this rich kid is here. The artsy kid is here. Yeah, just a lot of like the wildest concoction of citizens you can possibly imagine. And I just been having so much fun with the lingo. They say this really weird stuff like here's an eel crawling on like a bicycle. It is hilarious.
Yeah, I think for some of the more interesting villagers I've got, I have John Brown, the 1800s abolitionist.
Okay,
um,
yeah.
I've got Anakin Skywalker,
Awesome.
um, just like a bunch of random characters I like. Rocky Balboa. I recently put in Pomni because I got the Jester outfit.
Mm.
um, yeah, just I'm just really having fun with the mix. I even have like the no changes generic like default male and
Default
female
me.
muse. Yeah, because I thought that was funny, and like I don't allow them to pick up any little quirks.
Okay, yeah. So they're like the
I just keep
defaults.
giving them items.
Yeah, yeah. And what's the funniest is just to see the clash of like these unlikely
Hmm.
clashes. I'd never thought I would see the King of Sweden have a conversation with Alan Wake, but it's happening, and it's awesome.
Nice. All
Uh,
right, so getting into kind of the summer game announcement showcase festivals and all of that. Before we get into the Nintendo Direct,
yeah.
there were obviously quite a few other showcases. So
hmm
just do you have anything you wanted to highlight, talk about specifically? From Summer Game Fest, the PlayStation Showcase, Xbox Showcase, whatever else.
I would take this opportunity to highlight a game called Burn 9.
Hmm.
who was showed at the Story Reach showcase, which was one of the smaller showcases. And the Story Reach showcase was really good, had some really interesting titles. It is a showcase hosted by Fellow Traveler, who is Fellow Traveler is the hang on, okay. Fellow Traveler is the publisher of like Citizen Sleeper and Afterlove EP and Thousand Times Resist, and just one of my favorite publishers. And then they hosted a story showcase, and Burn 9 made a really positive impression on me, because it is a Metal Gear Solid game where you play as the Colonel, where there's a spy infiltration thing, and you as a player are giving orders to the player character. So you see like the radar, like you had the radar in Metal Gear, and then your job is to give orders to the infiltrator. So the infiltrator will scan, and you have like a dialogue with the infiltrator, and then there's like intrigue, and you have to pick sides, and it looks really cool. It is like, it's very obviously a homage to Metal Gear Solid, but it has this unique twist of like you're playing as the Colonel. I really like that.
Yeah, that sounds conceptually great. I don't know if I just missed it or didn't pay too much close attention, but yeah, I'll definitely look into that.
Yeah, I could definitely recommend to everyone to watch the Story Reach showcase if you have like 20 minutes to spare. It was really awesome. I really want to give like the time to the smaller showcases as well. I did watch the Wholesome Direct too. Wasn't
Hmm.
too into anything shown there, unfortunately. But I also watched the Day of the Devs. It had some really cool stuff as well. But then I think my favorite highlight from except from the um, direct, was clearly Gen Atlas, which was the new game from the creator behind Eco, Shadow of the Colossus, and Last Guardian. I think it's really
Oh, right, right.
I think it's really amazing to see him back in action and developing a game that looks so cool.
It's the robot game, right?
Yeah, like the science fiction Shadow of the Colossus stuff, where you're
Yeah.
you're in this world, and it was so unexpected because you don't really associate Fumito Ueda with action, but here you had like guns and shit, and you have like mech fights, like kaiju fights. It looks really really cool, and I can't wait.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I think like probably the things that people were really popping off about were Final Fantasy VII's
yeah, of
final
course, yeah.
chapter. I can't remember. It's re something. I can't remember. Um,
Revelation.
Revelation. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
and then probably the other one that was big, even if it was kind of a logo announcement, was probably Persona 6. We
Mm-hmm.
finally got it. It's green, which everyone thought it was
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
anyway
yeah.
for some reason.
I
So I'll be happy for that when it comes out.
I hope it's darker, like a return to
It
Persona 3 almost.
it looked like it was gonna be because it had
Yeah,
like what little we did see, it was kind of like spooky imagery in a graveyard. So maybe
yeah,
that's
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of going to be like the Velvet Room of the game, and it'll
Mm,
have afterlife connotations or theming or whatever. I guess we'll see.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be cool.
All right, so we can go ahead and jump into the direct, and the
Yes.
direct was pretty meaty. So I've kind of got a list of announcements, so we can just go down the list.
Yeah.
So they opened with Rhythm Heaven Groove, and I know some people kind of questioned that, but Rhythm Heaven Groove is kind of one of my most anticipated games of the year
That's
that's been
awesome.
announced. So I was pretty excited about that. You have any thoughts on that?
I'm actually not very tuned into that particular game. I think it's you have the feeling where there's so many amazing games, you kind of
Hmm.
have to filter out at least some of them. And this is like sandwiched a bit. It's between Star Fox and Splatoon Riders, so it kind of like became the odd one out for me personally. Even though it looks very cool, it really does.
So, so not to be like the example of Rhythm Heaven fan excited to play it for the first time, but that's kind of my situation.
Okay, yeah, awesome.
I fell down a bit of a rabbit hole a while back of just watching perfect plays of the previous games and just like being fascinated by them.
Yeah,
So I've been really looking forward to it.
amazing.
All right, so as far as there was a lot of third party in this direct, and probably one of the biggest people that showed up was Capcom. So
Yeah.
they had Onimusha, Way of the Sword, Dragon's Dogma 2, Devil May Cry 5, and then it wasn't in the direct, but they had also announced that Monster Hunter World was coming to Switch too. So any of the Capcom titles think caught your eye or that you want to pick up?
It wasn't announced in that block, but they announced later Monster Hunter Wilds Ascendance.
Oh,
Uh,
Monster Hunter Wilds, yeah,
no,
that's
or
what I meant.
was this here or was it in SGF?
I
Uh,
think they announced the expansion, yeah, in SGF, and then like I
oh,
think
okay,
in a
yeah,
tweet or something later on they confirmed it was coming to Switch too.
yeah. Okay, now I get it. But yeah, I think it's really cool to see all the. It feels like Switch 2 is almost the everyone is here of third parties. Like all of a sudden, like Square Enix, boom, 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 boom,
Hmm.
boom, Capcom, boom, 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 boom. That's really cool to see.
Yeah, and then Ubisoft showed up with Rayman
Yeah,
Legends
even
Retold, which I haven't played Rayman Legends. I know people really love it on the Wii U, and like I think that actually was announced during the PlayStation Showcase, but it was here at the Direct.
as well. Yeah, and I never really played a Rayman game except for like the PlayStation first one, the PlayStation one, in like forever ago. But I think it's a really cool franchise, and Rayman Legends Retold looks really good, like graphically.
Hmm.
So that's nice.
So something that I think may have been the like low key, if you know you know hit of the Direct was Muramasa Revenant Blades.
Oh yes, really
Okay,
cool.
go on, go on.
Yes, really cool to see Vanillaware showing up with like an old classic. Cause or is it an old
Yeah,
classic or is it a sequel? Or it was is it a sequel?
I believe it's a remake or port or
Yeah,
something in that.
because I know about
Uh,
and I mean I did realize it was Vanillaware's signature style, like from like a millisecond. I was like
mhm.
Vanillaware, yes. What are they bringing? And I know there's been a lot of talk in the Vanillaware fandom about bringing back some of their like older stuff now that they have a bit more of a spotlight on them with 13 Sentinels and Unicorn Overlord. So Muramasa I know was a big get for a lot of people that had been looking forward to it, and I think it looks really coal. I would definitely check it out.
I still need to play through Unicorn Overlord. I played like the first hour and haven't really gotten back to it.
The 7 hour demo, I was like almost a bit too intimidated by it. It looks
Mhm.
like one of those games that are like super complex but super rewarding when you are settling into the complexity of it, if that makes sense.
No, that's totally fair. I
Yeah,
I I, I plan to give it another shot eventually. All right,
yeah,
so like every direct, like not to diminish certain games, but they kind of go through like a lot of just here are other games coming. So I'm just gonna kind of list them. If any of them catch your eye or catch your ear, I guess,
yeah,
just call it out. So we've got Hello Kitty Party Land, Orbitals. Orbitals does look neat. I'm gonna give that some credit,
yeah,
but
exactly,
we've
yeah.
seen it. Big Walk, One Piece, Grand Gourmet, Ninjala 2, Jujutsu Kaisen, Rumble, Survivaton, which seems to be Vampire Survivors, but with that IP.
Mhm.
Um, what's P Kuniki 2, and then Lies of P Complete Edition, and then RuneScape Dragon Wilds, which I think was also in like every other showcase. So,
Nothing of it really caught my eye in this block. Um, Although I just had to give a shout out for Lies of P for existing. Like
yeah,
imagine we live in
absolutely.
a world where we have Pinocchio souls. Like that's pretty sick.
Yeah, and I've heard nothing but good things about that. I'm not too much of like a soul style enjoyer. Like I've played a few, but of that group, it's the one that definitely caught my eye the most.
Yeah, it looks like it's pays homage, of course, to the From Software titles, but also is
Mhm.
its own thing, which I really respect.
Okay, and then we had also just some of the Nintendo games that had been previously announced. We got either a new piece of information or another look at. So, like Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, that got a release date of September 17th. There was a demo for Star Fox, and then we're going to be getting a full direct for Splatoon Raiders at the end of June, I believe.
Yeah, I'm definitely eyeing at least Fire Emblem simply because it's
Hmm.
like it has the setting, like almost like a Game of Thrones / metaphor setting with the contest,
Mm-hmm.
and that's always a setting that's winning because it's so very easy to build an engaging story around a contest of that sort. And I also think the characters looked really cool. Like one of them is a musician, which I think it was really unusual and really cool for like a RPG character. And there are other RPG characters that have been musicians before, but this one, forget her name, but she looks really cool and would probably my first pick for, because you can choose between the four of them instead of having like an avatar character like Byleth. So
Yeah.
I think it looks really cool, and it felt good to both get a release date because there was like rumors of 2027, and also that we got to see more of it, which I just think Fire Emblem like stays winning, and that's great.
Yeah, I like that it seems to be tied in pretty close to Three Houses because that's
Mm-hmm.
my previous favorite Fire Emblem.
Yeah, same.
And it did get stuck in the middle of September, which is currently just a free for all bloodbath. But I think it's probably in its own lane well enough that it should be fine. And then I don't really have much more to say about Star Fox other than it looks good. I'm probably gonna pick it up.
Yeah,
I
same.
haven't played Star Fox 64. I know that's a
That's
lot of
a
people love that game.
Yeah, it has hold up really well. It is still up. It is almost like, I mean, it's not Ocarina of Time level of timelessness, but it holds up really
Mm-hmm.
well, and it's still really fun to play. So them bringing it back with Star Fox for Nintendo Switch 2, I think is a great show, and or a great like just a great thing to bring back, I think. And of course you can have like, oh, I would rather have a brand new game, but if we're getting another retelling of Star Fox 64, we're at least getting a really good retelling of Star Fox 64, which is awesome because that game has hold up really well. And also like it's one of the most like quotable games of all time,
Mm-hmm.
and which I think one can maybe agree on even if one hasn't played Star Fox 64, because you kind of pick up the lines through like cultural osmosis that
Oh, definitely.
like everyone knows what a barrel roll is. Like everyone, even if you're not a Nintendo fan, you know what a barrel roll is.
Mm-hmm. And then the Splatoon Raiders. I'm probably gonna pick it up. It looks interesting. It kind of looks kind of like a full version of Salmon Run or something similar, but like fleshed out into a larger campaign. Yeah, I will watch the direct and probably enjoy it when they show it at the end of the month.
Yeah, I think the direct is going to be really cool to watch. I'm a big fan of single player Splatoon. I think
Mm-hmm.
sorry, single player Splatoon is a really cool like concept that has up to this point felt almost rather underutilized. Like they had the DLC side order, they had Octo expansion, which a lot of people love. I
Mm-hmm.
actually haven't played Octo
I love
expansion.
Octo Expansion.
Yeah, I have heard so many great things about it, but I really think that single player Splatoon is getting its time to shine with riders, which I think is really good and really healthy and really just like finally single player Splatoon feels like it's gonna reach its full potential. I can't wait for the game, and I can't wait for the direct and find out more about it. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. All right, so we have underwater expansion coming to Pokopia and probably some other stuff with the expansion pass, which is neat because it's kind of frustrating that Ditto just drowns all the time. So
I haven't played Pokopia
happy to get
actually.
that.
Have you
Oh,
played?
you haven't?
Oh, I
Yeah.
have.
If I mean, I don't want to get too much into it because this is kind of just a quick announcement, but it's very charming. I don't know if you've played Dragon Quest Builders, but it's very Dragon Quest Builders.
Mm. And
Same developers even.
okay, yeah, cool.
But yeah, just very charming game, very creative. I've really enjoyed Pokopia. And then we got some DK updates. So the Donkey Kong challenge, which kind of seems almost like NES remix, but Donkey Kong specific and not a contained game.
Yeah, it seems like it too. Yeah.
I haven't really checked it out, but it's neat. That's cool. And then Bonanza's going to get some Mario DLC for Mario 40th anniversary cosmetic stuff. It's for the Emerald Rush mode. I don't know. Did you play Emerald Rush at all?
I've been eyeing it because it seems like it's more Bonanza, and I love Bonanza, so more Bonanza is always good. But I just haven't got around to it yet. But I would definitely check it out one day because I've heard good things about it, and it's cool that it has like this roguelike structure with like a time
Yeah.
limit stuff. It feels like it's just a really creative take on like the Bonanza gameplay loop. That's really cool. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely checking it out. Have you played it?
Yeah, I've enjoyed what I've played of it. It's something that I think has a higher skill ceiling than I can currently match.
Okay,
As
yeah.
far as like getting into the like getting past like the first few difficulties and like
Mm,
levels and stuff. Like
mm.
because I've played and I've been like, okay, I'm doing this, and I've seen like other people play and just like I'm like, how in the world? um, it's almost like an entirely different game than the base game that just is like we built this incredible moveset for Donkey Kong and we're gonna just use it as much as we can here.
Yeah, that's really cool.
All right, so probably my announcement of the direct, funny
Yeah, I can
enough.
imagine. I can
Uh,
imagine. I can imagine.
yeah, all three Xenoblade games are getting Switch 2 editions with new content. They're gonna be 60 FPS 4K on display, and it's just nice to like not have it that slow dripped out just all at once. Here they are.
Yeah. It,
I don't need an excuse to replay Xenoblade 2, but I'm gonna replay Xenoblade 2.
the biggest freaking finally of all the possible Switch 2 editions has to be Xenoblade 2. Just because
Yeah,
of like the
absolutely.
subpar performance, especially in handheld mode, and it's just like, yes!
Hmm.
We can finally rest this up and bump it up to 60 frames. If it's gonna be 60 frames in portable mode, it's gonna be 60 frames in portable mode, right?
And like we had already gotten the like Switch 2 boost mode, so that was already kind of a
Okay, yeah.
so I was already happy to see that, but I will always take more improved Xenoblade 2. And then they had like little additions for each game. So I know the big one for Xenoblade 1 is you get like bikes and carts and stuff, which is
Awesome.
really bizarre to me if I'm being
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Like it's cuz like Xenoblade 1 like it's like when do they have the time to go kart racing? Anyway, and then there's like I think it's like a playable blade like battle mode. It seems like it might be like the missions you send them on. Maybe you get to experience those. I wasn't really sure on that, but it looks cool. And then 3 is getting another roguelike mode, even though it had a
Yeah.
roguelike mode. So cool, good more roguelikes for Xenoblade 3.
Yeah, I think that looked kind of messy. Like it was really hard for me to wrap my head around what was going on. Incinerate 3, I
Mm-hmm.
mean. But I'm with you in replaying Xenoblade 2. I was really conflicted about that game, but I'm ready to give it. I was enough positive about it that I'm ready to give it a second shot. And
I
yeah,
mean, I think it's better on a replay. But okay, and then the big Xenoblade announcement was Xenoblade Genesis for next year, which looks like it's just an entirely new thing.
mm,
It like the characters looked like elves. There hasn't really been elves in Xenoblade so far. There's no Nopon from what we can tell. It the setting is like new and different. It looks to be kind of like a concave planet or setting or something rather than on the backs of something that's giant like in some of the
yeah,
other games. So it looks like it's kind of just a full restart for the series, which hey, I'm here for.
yeah. I think they wrapped up the Xenoblade trilogy really well with like the future redeemed and stuff. Like that, I felt like that is like a closed book, and we're ready to move on to
Hmm.
something new. And Xenoblade Genesis to me was just looked freaking incredible, and I think it's cool that even though they are, Xenoblade has always had something in its world that makes it look like impressive. Maybe not, maybe, but Xenoblade One obviously have this impressive setting that it takes place on like two giants, and
Hmm.
Xenoblade Two had several giants, and Xenoblade Three had like it was more of a traditional world with like the big sword
Hmm.
in the horizon. But Xenoblade Genesis really takes that concept like to an even more extreme degree by creating like a inside out planets that looks like almost like they're inside a globe, and everything just stretches out like up around. Like I can't imagine how impressive it's gonna be feel to run around in that world. It's gonna be
So
really cool.
here's a question. Do you think that this game is like the infamous Monolith medieval style action game or whatever that they put up art forever ago
It could
for?
be. It could be. It has medieval vibes, and
Mm-hmm.
it has the scale that I kind of fantasize. It's in many ways it is reminiscent of what I fantasized for their medieval action RPG to be. So that's really really cool, and it has like you walk into like this traditional looking building. They have swords and not like futuristic sci-fi blades. So I very like I and obviously like I don't know how the people on the forum who knows this better than me, but with the different kind of like teams, they have a Breath of
Mm-hmm.
Zelda support team, they have a Xenoblade team, and this could be like I don't know if this is like a third team, which would make sense that they put out the concept art hirings and then just brought everyone on board for Xenoblade Genesis. And it could be it could be, but even if regardless if it is or isn't a medieval RPG, I think it's just still looks incredible. So we stay winning either way.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that next year. I think that's one of the few 2027 games we have announced so far.
Yeah,
And then after that, they showed off Nintendo Switch Sports Resort, obviously a follow up to Wii Sports Resort.
yeah.
Looks like we're going back to Woohoo Island for that. I always love seeing Woohoo Island, so that's fun. And then kind of the meme of the direct was like
Yeah,
how much emphasis they put on the thumb wrestling
yeah.
specifically, which
Amazing.
that's not so much surprising to me is that they had Koizumi lose in the demo he was doing, which was so bizarre.
Yeah, yeah, and
But
it was really cool. I actually really like Nintendo Switch Sports because I did get
mhm,
my parents to play it, which is like this kind of like the, and I think it's really cool how accessible it is because you know my parents is of that generation where they like have to look down on the controller every time they do something to find where the buttons are, like just really not used to games at all. But then when we play Switch Sports together, they can just like swing the controller and it becomes the golf club, and that's really cool that they made the game that level of accessibility. And so I actually really like playing Switch Sports with them. It's been a lot of fun, and Return or Sports Resort looks really cool, and I love how they introduced like the mouse mode skateboarding.
mhm.
That was pretty neat.
Yeah, and it's like it's one of those games where I know that like some of the online crowd didn't react super well to it, but
Mm.
it's very much not their game. It's very much like what Wii Sports was and like everything else where there's a lot of people that want to play games like this.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it looks neat. I've got a hot take that sports mates are good actually.
Yeah, because I remember they're not as popular as Mii's or what it was.
I
Yeah,
think
they
the
because
Mii's
they
have yeah.
because the Mii's were in the original Wii Sports
Yeah,
series.
and
Mm.
I think a lot of that reaction to like people not liking the sports mates was they're like, oh no, they've replaced the Mii's and the Mii's are going away. No, the Mii's are doing fine. They've got Tomodachi. They've got other things they're doing. Like,
The
don't worry about the Mii's.
the Mii's are thriving in Tomodachi life.
Absolutely. All right. So we got a new HD 2D RPG, Final Fantasy Resonance. It looked kind of like, I think my understanding is it might be a adaptation of the phone game.
The Brave Exvius game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my assumption too. Regardless,
It's
it still looks freaking incredible. Like graphically, it
mhm.
looks really really sick with the summons and everything. In summons in HD 2D was like so cool to see. So this is one of my direct highlights. I will wait.
It's
Sorry, uh, I will wait and see how the story and characters are. I think that's more of a wait for reviews thing to see if they hold up. But graphically, it looks sick.
Yeah, it sounds like they're doing for that game what they did with Octopath Zero or whatever, like the Champions of the Continent or whatever the phone game was that, where they're taking that content and just kind of reworking it into the like console release, which I've heard great things about Octopath Zero. I
Yeah,
need
me
to go
too.
back to
Me
that.
too. Yeah, and I just
But
hope the next thing they do is near reincarnation.
mhm.
The phone near phone game, that's actually really really good, and them repurposing it as like a new near game for consoles would be sick.
Yeah, and I know that like there's important lore or whatever in the
Mm,
that near game, so I would like seeing that in some form.
yeah.
Anyway, all right. So then, let's see. We got Duskbloods. Duskbloods is getting a summer test. I continue to not know too much about Duskbloods, but I'm intrigued.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I still have not like Duskbloods to me is still not. It feels like it's still too vague in a way, so it's hard for me
Yeah,
to properly get excited for it because I can't quite wrap my head around what it really is in a way, which
I
is
know a lot
kind
of
of
people.
unfortunate.
Yeah, I
Oh,
know a lot
sorry.
of people were hoping for more from this direct as for Duskbloods, like more gameplay or whatever. But we are getting a summer like test soon, so that's going to be within the next few months. So we're going to get more soon.
Yeah,
But Duskbloods is currently in the category of I like the idea of it. I like the idea of there being this kind of like cool from soft multiplayer dark game that's switched to exclusive, and like that's just kind of exciting to see how that turns out. But I need to see more of it. Yeah.
yeah, same here. And but I think it. I hopefully think it can turn out to be great because they have kind of proved themselves with Elden Ring Night Rain that they have a grasp on a similar concept. So I hope that's a sign that Duskblood is gonna turn out great.
Yeah. And then the next game they showed was Dragon Quest Monsters: The Withered World, but I didn't write this down. I'm going to use it as an excuse to say we also got Dragon Quest 12 elsewhere, and
Oh yeah,
I'm excited for that because I love Dragon Quest 11. So, any thoughts on either of those?
yeah. Not really. I'm not really much of a Dragon Quest person. Uh,
I wasn't until I started playing Dragon Quest. Now I love Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest is really good.
yeah, that's sometimes how it goes with large RPG series.
All right, and probably kind of the last of the non-megatons was Metaphor ReFantasio coming to Switch 2, which in itself is a big announcement. Like I was saying earlier, I love the crap out of that game. It's
Yeah, it's
one of
so
like
good.
it's got like such a good story, it's got such a good world, it's got one of the best villains in any video games I've ever
Oh,
played.
I love
Like
Louise. Or I hate. I love
Louis
that I hate, and hate that I love, and I love that I hate Louise.
I've got a meme with friends where it's like whenever Louise gets mentioned, like you play like the intro to his like da 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 music, and it's just like he just has aura and presence. I love him so
Yeah,
much.
yeah, exactly. And it's they do such a good work of portraying him as well in the game.
I even though I already have the game, I'm probably going to pick it up for Switch 2 just to have a physical copy because my other one's
Yeah,
digital. Even though I think it is a game key card, but I don't care. Metaphor deserves more sales.
yeah, true, 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 true.
Okay, so now we're kind of getting into the things that got a lot of reaction, and the
Hmm.
first of those was Deltarune Chapter 5.
I
Have you played any of the Deltarunes or Undertale for that matter?
I love Undertale. I love Deltarune Chapter 1. I love Deltarune Chapter 2. I feel kind of guilty, or not guilty, maybe not the wrong word, but kind of like I. I'm sure I'm gonna absolutely love Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4. I just haven't got around to it yet. It's on, it's not on the backlog because I haven't bought it, but it's like it's a game I just know that I'm gonna love it to pieces, but unfortunately it just has fallen between the chairs a bit.
I totally understand.
Yeah.
Like, I similarly I've played Undertale. I liked Undertale during its heyday.
Mm.
I played the first chapter of Deltarune, enjoyed it enough. It was nice seeing some of the certain characters that were in it, and I liked that. And then I basically have just not had a desire to continue playing at least until it's in a finished state. And I hear people say like, no, you can like just play it. It's like each episode is kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know, just for whatever reason in my head, it's not something I need to be focusing on right now, and I've got other things to do.
Yeah, so I'm excited for chapter 5 to happen, but I will get to it when I get to it.
All right, so the next announcement was Kingdom Hearts 1 through 3 finally escaped the cloud. So
Yes.
they're on Switch 2. They're there. We don't know more streaming.
Yeah. And I have such a weird relationship to Kingdom Hearts. I actually
Yeah.
love Kingdom Hearts, but in a weird way that I started playing what Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, like the HD remixes. I actually kind of hated it because the gameplay was so dated and so
Hmm.
frustrating, and I had a miserable time playing it. I tried again and again because I kind of liked the story and characters. I tried again and again with 1, fell off of it hard. I started Kingdom Hearts 2, was like, oh, this is cool. I like the setting, I like the characters, and just fell off of it even more because I just didn't vibe with the combat whatsoever. Then I started to watch retrospectives, and now I love Kingdom Hearts.
Nice.
So I've been watching just like watching YouTube videos and like watching cutscenes on YouTube and just like getting absorbed in the lore in like, and I'm like, this is such a huge mess, but it's so fascinating because it introduces all of these weird concepts that are super like bizarre, and some of them are like pretentious, some of them are weird, some of them doesn't fit, some of it is retconned, but it all has this profound like emotional heart to it about friendship, about love, that it's like it is an absolute cluster of a narrative taking all games together, but it still has emotion to it. So,
Hmm.
and I think that's really important, and I think that's why I love it so much, because I can get like nitty gritty about the lore, but still enjoy the characters a lot, and like the things they go through. It's really affecting. And so I actually I played the demo, Shadow Drop demo for Kingdom Hearts 3 on Switch, and I already like it. I haven't played much of it, but I already like it more than 1 and 2. Like it's a bit more accessible, and I vibe with it a bit more with like the gameplay side first and foremost. So yeah, I just have this weird relationship with Kingdom Hearts where like I really love Kingdom Hearts, but not in the way that you usually love video games. If that makes sense.
No, that's totally understandable. I've got games like that where I like watching them more than I like physically playing them. Like RimWorld's probably an example of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Kingdom Hearts is something that is on my to-do list eventually, but it's a very eventually.
Yeah.
Just for kind of perspective, like I
Yeah.
put a
Yeah.
thread on Famiboards about this, but I want to play through all of Final Fantasy, and
Yeah.
that's like quite an undertaking to do before that. And it's funny because I finished Final Fantasy 1 and I enjoyed it, and then I played Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D and I was like, "Oh, I want to play all the Dragon Quests now." So like it keeps getting like
More and
it's
more.
it's
Yeah.
further back in the backlog, but
Yeah. Exactly.
I, I'm sure someday I will play them and I'll probably enjoy them and have a good time.
Yeah. For sure.
All right, and then probably one of the biggest surprises of the entire direct was they followed that with a trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4, just a new trailer.
It looks sick. It looks really, really
It
cool.
does, yeah.
And I think that's like amplified my love for Kingdom Hearts, because I'm like, now I love Kingdom Hearts, but I also have something to look forward to. And what I love so much about Kingdom Hearts 4 is that it channels like the same vibe and same action from like the Final Fantasy 15 rebranding trailer from 2013, where they had like all this crazy shit happening with like Noctis flying on cars and shit, and then they have
Hmm.
like Versus 13 is now Final Fantasy 15, and the Kingdom Hearts 4 feels like it's returning to that vibe before like before Final Fantasy 15 became like a bromance road trip.
Hmm.
So now that's really cool that Nomura is taking this opportunity to like revisit some of the earlier versus 13 stuff. So I definitely there day one for Kingdom Hearts 4.
I would say, I obviously I'm going to throw that to the back of my backlog, but the thing that's interesting to me is just that somehow Nintendo got the trailer. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know what
that's a big
happened, but
get. Everyone is
yeah, that
here.
was huge. Yeah.
Everyone is here. Every third party is here, even Kingdom Hearts.
And then we had one final announcement, the one more
Yes.
thing, which, to the surprise of probably no one, was the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake. And yeah, it certainly was there, and I pumped my fist, and I was happy to see it.
I
So
think,
that's probably. Go ahead.
yeah, I was just stunned. I was awestruck by this announcement. Just the voiceover with the Deku. I don't know if it was the Deku. I don't know. It was a narrator. It wasn't the Deku. The tapestry, the way it faded into a Link done with an art style that I'm totally on board with, and the rearrangement of Saria's song. Ugh.
Oh yeah, and like you had like a little bit of that, a little bit of like the Kokiri
Yeah,
Forest
exactly.
music.
It's segued into the Kokiri Forest. So good.
And something I really liked, I this is kind of like a very small thing, but I thought was really cool, is that when they did the logo reveal and they had the musical build up, it was the Hyrule Field theme from the game. Because
Yeah,
like something Ocarina of Time does that is like I think people realize it, but I feel it's still undercommented on is how little Ocarina pays homage to the main Zelda theme. Is like within its own music. Like
yeah,
all you really get in the game is like a few notes in one of the Hyrule Field like themes,
yeah,
and
exactly.
I kind of
That's
hope
really
they
cool.
keep doing that because I kind of like Ocarina of Time almost being like an entity into unto itself within Zelda that doesn't really even lean on that particular like very iconic part of it.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom does too. Breath of the
Hmm.
Wild has it at the end, the true ending, and it also has like this sneaking into the main theme when you're riding. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
But I totally agree with your point that Ocarina is its own thing musically. That's really cool.
And we did kind of just answer Bone Jack's question. He wanted to know if we screamed or cried or anything when seeing the
Yeah,
remake.
I was
But I. Go ahead.
I was just staring at my screen with my mouth wide open while I was swelling up inside with joy. I didn't scream or
Yeah.
cry, but that's what I did.
So, kind of part of the wider conversation around the game is a question from NinGamer64 who asks, I've seen many people say the Ocarina of Time announcement would have been more exciting if it didn't leak. Do you agree? And what do you think of the leaks in general? I mean, yeah, I think it was like the trailer was very clearly a reveal teaser trailer. It wasn't meant to be like a confirmation or a gameplay showcase. That was supposed to be the announcement, and it
Mm.
obviously would have had more punch if it were a complete surprise.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, it was resting entire. I mean, it was if it was a larger gameplay segment, it would have been like okay, but it was resting so much on the surprise factor. So when you remove the surprise factor, the I think the announcement, because it was so short, loses a lot of impact actually. If you remove the surprise element.
Yeah, and it's something I don't really blame the direct for Nintendo because I've
Mm.
heard like some people saying, "Oh, they because of the leaks they should have reworked the trailer to show more." But it's like, do you know how long it takes to even make
Yeah,
these? Like,
yeah,
yeah,
they
no,
plan
they're
it months in advance. So
yeah.
and
So like, I don't know. I think it kind of sucks for Nintendo, but I really think it's going to have very negligible impact on the game itself.
yeah, I think it doesn't it remind you a little bit of like Tears of the Kingdom discourse that they're not
Hmm.
showing much. It's in the sky, but what's happening? What are we doing? Even like I think people started to get more excited with like the gameplay reveal and the trailer number 3. Even with trailer number 2, it was like, we are driving cars. What's happening? Why aren't they showing more? Is this all there is to it? Like it's the same kind of similar, almost like pseudo skepticism in the air of like they're not showing much, So then maybe people are assuming stuff.
And it's coming in the next 6 months. Like, we're
Yeah,
gonna see it soon, so I can wait. Like, I've waited this long. It's fine.
yeah. I think also because I think also because what made the announcement lose impact because of the leaks was how likely it was, if you know what I mean. Like
Yeah, yeah,
the movie is coming next year, and I don't
yeah.
know which game or if it's based on a game or something, but an Ocarina of Time remake makes a lot of sense.
From what I've seen of the
To me.
movie, from like the pre-release and stuff, it definitely seems to be at least heavily referential of Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if you've been avoiding like the marketing or spoilers or anything, but I'll just say, like, yeah, it looks to be very referential of Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, so that's why, because when it was rumored, people were like, "Ah, of course," and that everyone accepted the rumor almost as fact. If it was a different circumstance, if there was no movie, or if it was like something, uh, let's say if it was like a Mario movie coming out next year, then we're just like, okay, they're finishing with 3D Mario because it's gonna tie in with the movie or something. If the circumstances wasn't as favorable for an Ocarina of Time remake, I think the announcement would have hit harder because then people wouldn't take the leak as seriously.
Hmm.
Because now when it came out the leak, I was like, oh yeah, the movie's coming up. There's time for a Zelda game too. Maybe it's too soon for the next mainline, so they need to have something this year. You know, if it was any other circumstance, I would be like not believing the rumor at all. I would like file it with like, Wind Waker HD, Fire Emblem 4 remake, Prime Trilogy, all of that. I would file it in that like mental pile of like, no way, you know. Uh, but if that would have happened, if it was not as much sense making to release a Ocarina of Time remake now, then I would have been taken completely by surprise despite the leaks, personally.
Okay, yeah, and I get that. And like, I'm usually, for the most part, I don't really care so much about leaks for marketing and stuff, because I'm more concerned with eventually getting the game and playing the game. I like, being in the speculation community and getting that surprise, and it's nice. And I do kind of wish this game hadn't leaked, just because
Yeah.
it led to some kind of like conversations that were dumb.
Mm.
But I'm just more excited to actually have the game eventually. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, same here. I think the leak discussion is actually a bit more peripheral. The actual important part is that the game so far, what we've seen, I mean, I love the inclusion of voice acting. I love what we've seen about the art style. I'm feeling really confident about this project. I just think they are resting on something truly incredible.
Yeah, what do you think of them just seemingly going, not necessarily full realism, but definitely more like traditionally realistic stylized?
I think it looks great. Uh,
Yeah, same.
I think I have no notes really. Like my wish was for it to look like the Wii U Tech demo, which I actually kind of really
Hmm.
love. But this is like even better. Like the hair texture is much more detailed, but it's not too detailed.
Hmm.
It I think this is the right. I know realism is kind of like a awkward word to use in this context, but it has the right amount of quote unquote
Hmm.
realism. I'm really on board with the art style.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. And if I can indulge a bit in some Zelda speculation,
Yeah.
geekdom, or whatever, because that's kind of how I grew up on the internet. So I've seen this as a discussion point, that in the trailer they show like Link sleeping, and they show his hand and it starts to glow with like the Triforce mark, and there's been like two different discussions on that, where people are like, okay, spoilers for a 30-year-old game, but obviously, like in Ocarina of Time, Link gets the Triforce of Courage when he becomes like at the adult break or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And so people are like, he shouldn't have it yet. He shouldn't have the mark. But then in other games, like, it's been a sign that you're like a chosen, like you are worthy of it, even if like you haven't actually acquired it yet. That's actually the case in like Zelda 1 and 2, and
Yeah, yeah,
then
exactly,
it shows up a
exactly.
few other times.
Yeah.
So like, I get that perspective, but I also have secret third perspective
Okay, what is that?
where
What is that?
where I don't think that would have been necessarily been a thing before the Triforce was split because of Ocarina of Time shenanigans, because I don't think the Triforce had canonically been split before that point, so that the resonance hadn't happened at that point.
Okay,
But
yeah,
so it could still be a sign of destiny, but I'm wondering if there's going to be shenanigans. And
okay.
it's like going to be like, I don't know if it's going to be like to the degree that the Final Fantasy VII remake is, but I'm giving like 10% odds on shenanigans, and we'll see.
Yeah, that's gonna take. Oh my god, I can't wait for the timeline. Aficionados to tear this game apart, like not in a negative way, but really analyze the changes and stuff. What I think is funny is that the rumors when Ocarina of Time released was the whole kind of can you get the Triforce? Because the Triforce is on the quest status screen, and there was like this fake video going around of getting the Triforce. And it turns out that you can get the Triforce, you just had to wait 28 years, and then you get then you get the Triforce in Ocarina of Time.
Oh man, what if they do that? That would be nuts.
What if they have like
I remember.
there's a lot of speculation about additional content like the Light Temple and stuff.
I read so many theories on getting the
Yeah.
Triforce in Ocarina of Time as a kid, like the unicorn fountain,
Oh yeah,
all
yeah.
of that. Uh,
Good
but
times.
yeah, not much, I guess, else to say about Ocarina of Time remake other than it's coming, and I'm definitely gonna play the crap out of it.
Yeah, same here.
And I'm guessing it'll probably be either in November or December, based just kind of off of the release schedule. I think it has nothing to fear from Grand Theft Auto, so
Isn't
it
isn't
could
the
be November.
isn't the anniversary date like 2 days after GTA 6?
Yeah, and I think it would actually make a lot of sense to tie it to the
Yeah,
anniversary
exactly.
date. But
that weekend is gonna cost me like $200. Holy shit.
uh yeah. All right. So just to kind of round out, we've got a couple more
Hmm.
community questions. So from Cold Gold Lazarus, how much or how little do you think we should or shouldn't read into the lack of Metroid, particularly that supposed Super Metroid remake? I never really believed in the Super Metroid remake, to be honest.
Me
Like,
neither. Me
cool,
neither.
cool if it comes, but and then with Prime 4 just having released so recently, unless like a 2D Metroid is in the works or a Super Metroid remake, I'd expect it to be a while before we hear from Metroid.
Yeah, I think they're cooking with some kind of Metroid, like Mercury Steam making Metroid 6 or something like
Hmm.
that. Or do you want Retro Studios to make Prime 5?
I like okay, so I when we did the Metroid Prime 4 episode,
Yeah.
that is all I've played of Metroid Prime 4. I haven't gone
Okay.
back
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
it, and I feel kind of bad about that. So
Yeah.
the game didn't grip me. I don't know if I play the game so much though, as just I had other things to do, and it. But I don't know who else. I don't know. I kind of like retro more on Donkey Kong, to be honest.
That makes sense to
Or
me.
if they have their own thing they want to do, but yeah, it's kind of funny. It feels like Next Level Games has kind of like stolen retro sauce as like the golden Western developer Nintendo has.
Yeah, kind of. But I actually want them to make Metroid 6 to like address the shortcomings of not Metroid Prime 5 to address the shortcomings of Prime 4. I think
Fair.
they deserve one more shot because they clearly have the talent. They just did some pretty iffy design decisions.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
But as
And then
for
we have a Go
oh
ahead.
sorry, just wanted to round it up that as far as Metroid, I think Metroid 6 is coming and they're just cooking on it and maybe it will be a while. But I have faith in a brand new 2D Metroid at some point.
I don't think Super Metroid needs a remake.
Yeah,
It's
same here.
I kind of have it similar to like A Link to the Past, where I think it's kind of at the apex of its particular art style that they were going for on the hardware it was on, and
Yeah,
I don't know if a remake would do service to it.
same.
But I mean, I'll play it if it comes out. Super Metroid. But
Yeah.
okay, and then a question from Draco. What are your thoughts on Fire Emblem being the next $80 physical release after Mario Kart World? Did seeing the higher number raise or lower your hype for the game? Honestly, I didn't notice it was $80, and then I bought the special edition because I saw it available. So like, I feel like I'm not qualified or entitled to criticize this, but like, I saw it and I'm like, yeah, that sucks, and then I bought it. It's going to be the same for Ocarina of Time remake, by the way.
Yeah,
But anyway,
which is definitely gonna be 80.
oh
I'm
yeah, I've got no doubt.
pretty certain about it. But the thing is with 80 games is that previously with 60 games, it was like if you had good finances, if you had a stable job, 60 games was um like, yeah, you could play one $60 game a month. It was fine. It didn't dent too much. 80 games is like, even if you have a stable financial situation, eight and 80 games still like makes a significant impact in your finances, even if you're stable. And if you don't have a stable financial situation, it stings even more.
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
so I think 80 is like, for me, at least for me personally, is getting really close to like a pain point of like, okay, now we maybe have no choice but to wait. Maybe I don't have a choice but until wait for like a discount or something, which is hard when you're a Nintendo fan because they rarely go on discounts. Um,
Yeah, there are games I will pay $80 for at launch.
Fire Emblem is
Zelda is one of them.
Fire Emblem
Fire Emblem,
is not one of them for
yeah.
me, unfortunately.
Fire Emblem, I don't know, if I didn't see the special edition and won it, it might have been one, but like
Mm.
there are eventually going to be games I don't want to pay $80 for at launch. And I think Nintendo recognizes that. I think that's why like Yoshi and the Mysterious Book was $50.
Yeah.
And so I think they're going to be strategic about it because there's only certain games they can get away with it with.
Mm.
But yeah, it is kind of a bummer that games are just getting more expensive. I mean, hardware is also getting more expensive. Um, I would be willing to bet a lot that Grand Theft Auto is also probably going to be 80 or more.
Yeah, it's probably. I have a bet that it's gonna be 90.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised in the
Yeah,
least.
and
But that's just kind of the world we live in.
yeah, exactly. So Fire Emblem being 80 does sting for me personally, and it does like have. It would have been like a guaranteed get if it was like um a 60. Now it's like waiting for reviews or waiting for discount because 80 is
Hmm.
like paying for the clothes, or it is for many people in that, like on the other side where it's just like, no, I can't afford this right this moment, and it's gonna lower the user base and lower the amount of people who is getting to enjoy it. But I think I ultimately end up on the same point as you, that this is like the reality we live in with like hardware and software. Uh, yeah.
All right, and that's a fun note to end this whole
Yeah, yeah,
conversation
yeah.
on. Any final thoughts just on not E3 this year?
Okay, just to bump up the and end on a high note.
Sure.
Uh, one thing I do want to bring up is that I wrote this on the forums actually, but I'm just really stoked that we're starting to see Tears of the Kingdom likes in the
Hmm.
gaming world. We had Crimson Desert with its Sky Islands, and now we have Final Fantasy 7 Revelation, where you can like skydive off of any point of the island. Not only
Hmm.
like as a fan of Tears of the Kingdom, but I also think it's amazing that for so long, because the PS6 is on the horizon, where it's like, do we need the PS6 because the potential of PS5 hasn't quite been exhausted yet? And for the first few years, it really felt like, okay, it's 2023 and the best looking game ever is still Red Dead Redemption 2. When are we going to see the full potential of like new hardware? And I think Final Fantasy 7 Revelation is proving um, that, holy shit, look what kind of things we can do on modern hardware, where we can create this massive expansive world and just like drop down anywhere. And obviously Nintendo already did that with like a tablet from 2015.
Hmm.
But this is like a different thing because the world is so much more like rich in detail and stuff. So I'm just really happy that we have come to the point where like hardware is getting taken advantage of in a really like cool way, not only to bump up like beard stubs or whatever, but to really bet on creating like this huge impressive world where it can go anywhere, it can drop down from the sky at any point. I am really excited to be able to do that in more games, especially in Final Fantasy VII Revelation. It is dropping next year, and I cannot wait for that.
All right. A plea for more Tears of the Kingdoms likes. I like it.
Yes, please.
All right. So I think that'll do it for today's discussion. Yeah. Thanks again for joining me, Irene.
Thank you, WestEgg, yourself.
Yeah. And yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. If you'd like to get on the discussion, be sure to check out the companion thread on Famiboards.com. And have a good day, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.